This is John. John is just a normal, everyday guy. To get a better understanding of how to make daily improvements in health based on decision making, we are going to follow John around for a day to see how he promotes a healthy lifestyle. Let's see how John gets his day started. For some, the most difficult decision of the day is whether to snooze the morning alarm clock or to get up and start the day. This can be a difficult decision for those who frequently find themselves tired after a night of sleep. Since this is the first decision of the day, one should always strive to make it a positive start by waking up instead of saying no to the beginning of your day by snoozing the alarm. Some would argue that snoozing the alarm for a few more precious moments of sleep will give them a better start to the day than just getting up. However, by waking up early and providing time for yourself in the morning, one can take advantage of preparing their body and mind for the challenges of the day ahead. One strategy to start your day on a positive note is a 5 to 10 minute morning meditation or prayer session to focus on daily responsibilities and expressing gratitude for the day ahead. This can provide a clear picture of your responsibilities for the day, as well as help you approach your day in a relaxed and pre-planned manner. Some individuals enjoy starting their day with stretching or a brief yoga routine to warm up their muscles and help wake them up. There are numerous strategies to having a good start to the day, and finding the right one for you can have multiple benefits in your overall health. Now it's time for breakfast. John knows that breakfast is an important opportunity to get his metabolism jump-started. It's important to have a nice balanced breakfast to keep up energy levels for the day. One of John's favorite breakfast foods is oatmeal with fruit and... Hold it right there, John! Remember, starting out with a healthy breakfast can help empower you to make good decisions for the rest of the day. Now, as I was saying, one of John's favorite breakfast foods is oatmeal with fruit and nuts, with a cup of unsweetened coffee or tea. This gives John some good whole grains and fruits and helps him to avoid added sugar. John likes to follow Harvard's healthy eating plate as a simple, easy-to-understand way to structure his meals. Harvard's healthy eating plate is a scientifically based dietary recommendation created by experts at Harvard School of Public Health and Harvard Medical School. It has some important differences from USDA's My Plate, such as recommendations for including healthy fats such as olive oil and avoiding refined grains, as well as recommendations against consumption of red meat, excess dairy, and excess sugar, since all of these things are known to be linked to disease. Harvard's healthy eating plate avoids giving specific serving sizes or calorie counts, since every person's needs are different. Rather, it helps to plan meals based on relative proportions. As you can see, fruits and vegetables should make up about half of your meal, with extra emphasis on vegetables, while whole grains and healthy proteins should make up the other half. John prefers not to eat vegetables with breakfast, but he always makes up for it by adding an extra vegetable into another meal or as a snack. Now that John has jump-started his day with a delicious, enriching breakfast, he's starting to think about packing his lunch and snacks for the day. John packs a lunch for work every day because he likes to save money and avoid eating unhealthy fast food. John knows that his body is like a machine, and the higher quality fuel he puts in, the better his entire body will function. Healthy food keeps him feeling sharp, happy, and energized. Meal prepping is a great way to portion out balanced meals for the week. This week, John prepared spicy chicken kebabs over a bed of mixed greens with olive oil and apple cider vinegar dressing, with some Mediterranean brown rice on the side. Yummy! He made sure to go easy on the salt, though. Salt has been shown to increase the risk for heart disease, stroke, osteoporosis, even cancer. Most Americans get far more salt than they need during the day. Ever since John has been following Harvard's healthy eating plate recommendations, he has noticed that he's much more alert and can think much more clearly in the afternoons. His boss has even given him a raise. Now it's time for John to go to work. Spending the whole day at work can feel like it gets in the way of a healthy lifestyle. However, there are small changes you can make throughout the day to improve your health. Instead of parking your car as close as possible to the entrance at work, try finding a spot a little bit farther away. The more steps you can get in during the day, the better. John loves taking the elevator at work because it saves him time. But taking the stairs instead is a great chance for a short bout of aerobic activity. Drinking coffee often feels like the most important part of the morning, but John needs to remember to drink water periodically throughout the day. Staying hydrated is key for a healthy, functioning body. Keeping a water bottle on you and filling it up throughout the day is an easy way to stay hydrated. John is an accountant, so he spends most of his time at a desk. John can make a few changes to his work environment in order to improve his posture throughout the day. He can move his computer screen in line with his eyes so that his neck is not bent up or down. He can make sure his keyboard keeps his wrists in a neutral position. It may even help to have a cushion under the bony part of his wrist. He can also raise his chair to make sure his shoulders aren't hiked up. The chair at work is not always the most supportive. John can add a lumbar support on his chair to improve seated posture and reduce low back pain. Proper work ergonomics keep John feeling good and pain-free. John is very busy at his job. From time to time, it is important for him to remember to be conscious about his posture. Every hour or so, John can overcorrect his posture and do about 10 shoulder blade squeezes. By bringing his shoulder blades together, John can prevent future pain from poor posture. It is also important for John to remember to get up and walk for about 2 minutes every hour that he spends sitting. This can help him to get in a few more steps during his day. John invited his friend Shelby to have company on his walk and improve his walking program accountability. Although Shelby's primary source of mobility is in a wheelchair, she can still join John. By mobilizing herself in the wheelchair for 2 minutes every hour, she is also able to improve her cardiovascular fitness and break up poor posture during the day. Another way John and Shelby can keep moving during the day is to offload their bottoms by doing in-chair push-ups. And most importantly, remember to breathe. John and Shelby have stressful jobs and need to remember to take a breath during the day to help them relax. By improving their work environment and activity throughout the day, John and Shelby can reduce their sedentary time and reduce pain from a poor posture. After John gets off work, he enjoys going to the gym. John enjoys going with his friend Shelby to the gym. Oh look, their friend Sarah has also arrived. John enjoys exercising because he knows there are many benefits. Let's take a look at those benefits now. Exercise decreases stress and makes you feel happier. It decreases your risk for depression and anxiety. Exercise can also decrease risk for heart disease and other diseases. It increases your bone density and decreases risk for osteoporosis. Exercise increases energy levels and helps with weight loss. Exercise can also protect your skin and delay signs of aging. And also, exercise helps reduce pain by increasing pain tolerance. Developing an exercise routine can be tough and confusing. Here are a few recommendations according to the American College of Sports Medicine, the ACSM, that can be helpful to follow when planning your weekly workout routine. The ACSM recommends doing aerobic training 3 to 5 days per week, resistance training or weightlifting 2 to 3 days per week, and flexibility training or stretching 3 days per week. Let's take a look at John's weekly exercise routine. On Mondays, John does aerobic and resistance training. On Tuesdays, he just does aerobic training. On Wednesday, he does aerobic and resistance training. On Thursday, just aerobic. And on Friday, he does aerobic and resistance training. And as for flexibility training, John likes to fit in stretching after some of his workouts. Now let's get back to the gym to see what everyone is up to now. To kick off their workout routine, they begin with an aerobic warm-up to get their muscles warm and heart rate going to get ready for the weights. John is currently using the treadmill. He uses the RPE, or Rating of Perceived Exertion scale, to reach the correct recommended intensity. This is an RPE scale. The goal is to reach an intensity level of 15 to 17, which is a rating of hard to very hard. An RPE of 15 to 17 ensures that you get all the benefits of aerobic exercise. Sarah and Shelby perform their workouts a little bit differently from John. Sarah is using a recumbent bike, and Shelby is using an upper body ergometer for their warm-ups. They each perform their warm-up for 15 minutes prior to hitting the weights. Some other forms of aerobic exercise include swimming, bicycling, or playing sports. Here are some more details about aerobic exercise. The ACSM recommends 30 minutes of aerobic exercise 5 days out of the week at a moderate to hard intensity. That's an RPE of 15. Alternatively, the ACSM also recommends that you can do 25 minutes of more intense exercise 3 days a week. That's an RPE of 17. Again, the RPE, or Rating of Perceived Exertion scale, is appropriate for measuring the intensity of your exercise. Alternatively, you can use your heart rate to measure the intensity of your exercise. See the ACSM's website for more details. After their aerobic warm-up, John and his friends take a break to drink some water. They try to remember to take breaks frequently throughout their exercise to stay hydrated. Now, John and his friends are going to do some resistance or weight training. To work on the side of their buttock region, they perform abduction exercises. These exercises can be performed with or without TheraBands. This is a TheraBand. John is performing the hardest form of this exercise. He is in a side-lying position with his legs straight with a TheraBand around his ankles. During this exercise, we want to be sure that John is not rolling onto his back. If he does, he may need to do an easier form of the exercise. Sarah performs an easier form of this exercise. She is in a side-lying position performing a clam with a TheraBand. Shelby is also working the same muscles as Sarah and John, but in a seated position. The friend should hold the squeeze for 3 seconds and perform this 3 sets of 10 times. To work their back muscles, the friends perform shoulder blade squeezes. These exercises can be done with or without TheraBands. John is performing this exercise using the weight machine. This exercise is known as a row. Sarah is performing shoulder blade squeezes in a standing position, while Shelby is performing this exercise in a seated position. They should also perform this exercise 3 sets of 10 times. To work their buttock region, they perform gluteal exercises. John is performing the highest level of gluteal exercises called a one-legged bridge. Sarah is performing an easier form of bridges, a two-legged bridge. Shelby is performing gluteal squeezes in a seated position. She is squeezing her buttocks. They do 3 sets of 10 repetitions. To work on their thighs or their quadriceps, as well as their buttock region or their gluteals, they perform a variety of exercises. John is performing the highest level, a freestanding squat with a weight. Sarah performs an easier level of squats called a sit-to-stand. She focuses on only pushing with her legs, using her arms for safety. Shelby is working out her thigh muscles by performing seated kickouts, which can be done with or without a weight. To work on their triceps, which are the muscles on the back of their arms, they perform a variety of exercises. John is performing kickbacks, which can be performed with a hand weight. Sarah is performing wall push-ups. Her hands should be placed at chest level. Her chest should not go past her elbows, and she should focus on keeping a flat back. Shelby is performing wheelchair push-ups. This is important for her since she uses this movement throughout the day to offload her bottom. This ensures pressure relief and decreases risk for sores. Throughout the day, people who use wheelchairs should perform a wheelchair push-up every 15 to 30 minutes to decrease pressure on their bottom. These are the ACSM guidelines for resistance training. Resistance exercise should be performed 2 to 3 days per week. After a resistance exercise session, wait at least 48 hours before your next session. The number of repetitions that you perform is determined by the goals of your exercise. If your primary goal is power and strength, you should perform 8 to 12 repetitions. 10 to 15 repetitions is a great place to start for strength and is good for middle-aged or older people that are starting an exercise program. 15 to 20 repetitions is appropriate for someone who is trying to improve their muscular endurance. Regardless of your goals for exercise, you should perform 3 to 4 sets. To determine how much weight you should lift, you can perform a 1, 6, or 10 repetition max test. However, this should only be done under the supervision of a qualified professional. If you do not have access to a qualified professional, you can use a rating of perceived exertion or RPE scale. On a scale of 6 to 20, you should be performing resistance exercise at a 15 to 17. Following the weights, the friends perform 15 more minutes of aerobic exercise to reach their recommended total of 30 minutes of aerobic training, as well as to cool down their muscles. After their workout, they perform flexibility exercises. To cool down, they stretch their main muscle groups to maintain flexibility and decrease their risk for injury. The first muscle group they stretch is their calf muscles. John performs a calf muscle stretch on an inclined surface. He performs the stretch 3 times for 20 seconds each time. Sarah performs the same stretch with a belt in a seated position. Shelby performs the same stretch in her wheelchair. Next, John stretches his pectoralis muscles by laying down on a foam roll. Sarah performs the same stretch in a doorway. Shelby stretches her chest in the doorway as well, but she only stretches one side at a time. Next, John stretches his hamstrings. Sarah stretches her hamstrings by laying on her back and using a belt to draw her leg up. Shelby performs a hamstring stretch by propping her leg up and reaching for her foot. Next, John stretches his hip flexors by assuming a lunge position and leaning his hips forward. Sarah performs a hip flexor stretch by hooking a belt around her foot, letting her leg hang, and then pulling her knee into a flexed position. Shelby stretches her hip flexors by laying on her stomach. A more advanced stretch can be performed by pressing up on her arms. The ACSM recommends that flexibility exercises are performed 3 days per week, Each stretch should be held for 20 to 30 seconds, and 3 sets of each stretch should be performed. On the slide are shown some other flexibility exercises that can be performed. In conclusion, exercise should be a part of everyone's lives. If you have not participated in exercise in a while, or you never have, consult a medical professional before trying anything new. This video has simply shown a few exercises that can be performed. If you are uncomfortable with these exercises, or would like to find out more about different exercises, contact a personal trainer or a physical therapist. To begin a healthier lifestyle, consider joining a gym or buying a Fitbit to help with motivation. Gyms offer many exercise classes that you may find more entertaining and fun than just lifting weights. Fitbits and other step counters can be fun, and you can be competitive with your friends. A great step count goal is 10,000 steps per day, although 15,000 steps has been shown to be ideal. In the end, the best mode of exercise is the one that keeps you motivated. So find your favorite mode of exercise and keep at it. Great job, you guys! After a long day, John makes sure to hydrate. John avoids sugary drinks like sodas and instead opts to drink water. Once dinner comes around, John doesn't want to spend a long time preparing his food. Many times, he chooses to make a meal that doesn't require lots of thought or time. Tonight, he's cooking some ground turkey tacos with pinto beans on a whole grain tortilla with lettuce and homemade salsa. He's adding on some avocado to give him a nice creamy replacement for sour cream and cheese while adding in some healthy fats. This delicious meal only takes him around 45 minutes to prepare and cook. After dinner, John enjoys relaxing and watching some TV. This is a great way for him to unwind from the day. John is sure not to spend too much time on the couch, though. He picks out his favorite shows and limits his TV time to around an hour. John also knows the importance of eating dinner before it gets too late and avoiding late-night snacks. He might have a light snack after dinner to curb his appetite, but he knows that midnight snacks can lead to weight gain. John chooses to make his after-dinner snack something healthy, like some nuts or a granola bar. It's starting to get late. John knows that he needs to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep, but he sometimes has trouble turning off the TV and avoiding late-night snacks. Some things John does before bed to improve his quality of sleep include cutting out television 2 hours before going to bed, avoiding sugary snacks late at night, and having 1 cup of water prior to going to sleep. Cutting out TV time prior to sleep can help us reach a more relaxed state when trying to go to sleep, since television is usually very stimulatory in the amount of flashing lights and loud, sudden noises. Instead of watching television late at night, try to read a book, preferably on paper with overhead lighting. If you are using an iPad or a similar electronic device, try to use the dimmer to decrease the brightness. This can decrease the strain on your eyes at night. Before John climbs into his bed at night, he turns off all of his lights in the bedroom. because he knows that sleeping in the dark can help to improve our body's recognition of nighttime and allowing our bodies to rest and recover from the day. If sleeping in the dark is something that is uncomfortable or unsafe, then using a nightlight is appropriate, but attempt to get one with a softer color, such as amber. Now that John is in bed and ready for sleep, we are going to leave him to get some rest and prepare for the next day. You don't have to make big life changes to live a healthy lifestyle. There are some small changes you can make throughout the day that make a big difference. First, eat more vegetables and fruits, and eat a variety of colors. Try to limit your consumption of red meat, dairy, added sugar, processed foods, grains, and salt. Also, make sure to stay hydrated throughout the day. Healthy food is key to a healthy body. Second, try to exercise 30 minutes each day for at least 5 days a week. Make your exercise a combination of aerobic, resistance, and flexibility. Doing this will help your body to function optimally. Joining a gym can help out with this. Third, try not to slouch, especially at work, and move as much as you can throughout the day. Our bodies crave motion, and they work best when we move around. And fourth, make sure to get plenty of good quality sleep. There are some small changes you can make, like eliminating noise, turning off the TV before bed, and making sure your room is dark. That will make your sleep much better quality. See, being healthy isn't so hard. Try to implement some of these changes one at a time in your life, and never be afraid to ask for help. There are many dietitians, exercise professionals, and health professionals that would be willing to help.